guys, how's it going? Ottawa Scotty here. Just got to my motorhome from in Metcalfe, Ontario. Drove all the way from Kazabazua to get here. It's a long drive, bringing all my tools and everything like that. If you're just joining me here on these vlogs, this would be my 5th vlog, and just kind of bring you up to speed if you're kind of just joining me. This motorhome that you're looking at right now is the first YouTube video that I made. I think it was about 6 years ago. I'll put a link to the video. It's called The Perils of Buying a Used RV or something like that. Anyways, I'm here because I believe I'm on my last 3 days of work on this motorhome. I really believe that I can get this thing safetied and finally on the road. Got all the necessary things in place. I've called my insurance company. I've got the insurance set up all ready to go. I've got my mechanic in Winchester ready to look at the RV for Tuesday morning, because this is Thanksgiving weekend. My plan is to work on the motorhome for the entirety of the weekend. I'm just hunkering down here. I've got my clothes, I've got food. I'm just kind of getting organized here, putting stuff in the fridge, and just kind of getting my bearings. I just got here, so the plan is to go hard on the work there. I've got most of the main things out of the way. The brake, I am going to replace the 2 back brake calipers, new calipers and pads back there, and then I'm going to bleed the system, the whole thing, again. And yeah, if you're just joining us, I've replaced the master cylinder. That was the hardest thing that I've ever done on a vehicle. Like, it should have been easy, but there are a few things about this motorhome that you know, if I do get this thing on the road and back up to my place in Kaz, I'll go through some of the challenges that I've encountered with this motorhome. The defrosters need to be fixed. There's a marker light that needs to be wired up on this side. There's some sort of finishing stuff underneath the motorhome with, you know, some foam and a little bit of Bondo here and there. Patch up some holes that are not in the body, but in, like, there's a little bit of a hole underneath the water tank, the cover for the water tank underneath. I don't think that's crucial for safety because it's not an actual hole in the body of the motorhome, but I just want to be better to be safe than sorry. So I mean, I'm gonna have to take the dash apart again. I'm gonna have to take the whole dash apart again, and there's some things in there that need to be fixed. So we've got the dash all apart here, and the component in question here that I'm having issues with is this climate control system. This basically lever here operates as sort of a bicycle cable type thing, cable that, as you can see right here, why that's not working. It's actually bent. Okay, it's bent. And a lot of some of the wires that you see here, like these coming into the back, these 4 here, they're actually not wires at all. They're actually little tiny vacuum hoses that operate off the vacuum for this, the engine manifold vacuum for this climate control system. And however trivial this may seem, it's actually not, because you know, this is required to work for this motorhome to pass the safety. So you know, it's Canada, it gets cold here, and you got to be able to defrost your windows. So I've already fixed these defrost fans. That climate control system comes through the firewall, and This is the cable right here. It hooks onto this little bracket here and operates this valve, which it seems free, but maybe this is a little sticky. No, that doesn't seem too bad. I kind of worked it back and forth. It seems like that cable should be able to push that back and forth, but this cable is obviously it's not able to work. So basically that valve, just, you can see how it works. The engine coolant either does a loop here, goes back, or when you open this valve, it takes a loop through the heater core and then goes back. So it's a fairly simple design, and basically that's how you either get hot air or cold air in your climate control system. So that's a seemingly trivial but crucial repair that needs to be done here, and we're gonna go to the junkyard now and see if we can either replace that whole unit or just replace the cable. The thing that's busted here is this latching relay here. That is not functioning properly, and the reason why is because I tried to clean up the bolts here, and in unscrewing the bolts I just spun that post there, and I think I disconnected the coil inside. Alright, crushing cars. Here's my girl right here. Taking a lot of parts off this whole girl here. Okay, let's see now. There's a girl right there. But wouldn't you know, the one vehicle that I could actually use parts off is behind it, just about to get crushed. Why the hell would anybody do that? So many good parts on this thing. They just crush the roof like that. Let's bust up the roof. Stupid. This vehicle reminds me of my first van. The smell. Oh, we're not having much luck here today, boys and girls. They just don't have any old vehicles or RVs. So the whole problem here really all boils down to this cable. This cable just is supposed to go through here. It's really windy today, but it's, as you can see, it's a bit frayed right there, and it's making it's kind of broken too, so it's making it so it won't go through. Really, that's the whole problem. See, it gets jammed there. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and twist that tighter, and I'm going to actually try and melt some solder into there. See if I can tighten this area up. So we'll try that. Alright, so we've got this cable. I couldn't actually find another cable like this, so I had to just repair this one, which should be fine. Now this here is actually the vacuum line port, and I just had the engine running, and everything works perfectly with this guy now. Yeah, so here we are, and as you can see, cable moves in and out. I just kind of straightened it out, and that's good, and everything works here. This bracket is slightly broke. I looked through the parts yard for something like this, and there's just nothing. I mean, it's the older stuff is getting pretty rare for the boneyard. So, I mean, lately I've just been just trying to repair stuff like this. And yeah, so this vacuum, I verified that works. I just had the RV running. This bottom, it looks like the black one supplies the vacuum, and then all these other connections are basically work from the buttons here. Actually, really interesting. It's really cool how this works. And I will take a little video of the accumulator in the engine bay, as well as let's just go have a look at where this cable hooks into. So cable comes out of the firewall, runs all the way down here, and it hooks on to this guy, and just moves back and forth. It opens and closes this little valve here. This ball looking thing, which you may have seen on other vehicles, I remember my Camaros having these. This little tube here goes to the manifold, and then you've got this little vacuum line, which looks just like a wire. That main line runs into the it's a firewall, and here's your here's the defroster vents here, and everything works. There's a little diagram here. So really, I think this Atwood air system is an entire system, which I think that's why I'm having a hard time finding. Yes, you can tell from the diagram that this whole thing is it's an entire system, so I would have to get it. I mean, I'm looking at cars thinking that I'm going to get that whole part, the whole, what they call it on the diagram, push button selector switch. I was thinking maybe I would just find one of those in another car, older car, GM car, but not the case. It looks like it's actually an Atwood product. One of the other things I had to fix too is down here, the air plenum. The air plenum had some holes that were not blocked, and some of these hoses had come loose, were just hanging out. So I fixed all that up, put some Gorilla tape over the holes. That really helped to increase the airflow. Verified that this vent works for the max AC too. This vent here basically opens when you have max AC on, and recirculates the cabin air, but makes some good progress. Everything's working, so I'm pretty happy about that. And I figured out the wiring issues as well. Install a new solenoid here, make this whole thing work properly, but it's all good now, and I'm just charging my battery. So I'll start the process of getting this dash back together. I've seen this each cluster in many different motorhomes from the 80s and 90s. The only thing that's a little tricky is this little tab here for the speedometer. This will not come out if you need to press this little tab down, which will release the cable from here, and then the cable will just pull it right out. It's actually a mechanical cable. It's hooked right onto the transmission. Actually has a little physical little gear that turns, and there's a little the inside of the cable spins around and turns this thing. You can actually turn it by hand and watch the gauge go. Alright, here's my dash all back together. Looking good. Everything working perfectly. Even my CB radio works. So now, what we gotta do now, I'm on the final push here. I've got to brake calipers and brakes on both the rear wheels, and I really have to get under there and do something about the rust. There's no way this thing is going to pass safety looking like this. So, alright, here we're putting on these new calipers. These are pretty crusty. Crusty looking. It's hard to get that wheel off. Up, like so. And got the it's like that. So all right, progress here. Got the driver's side rear caliper on and wired up this marker here. Had some leftover trailer wire, and things are going well here. Alright, here was a big problem here. This, well, I had to cut. These aren't looking great. This is my reverse lights. I actually had some parts here. Jesus Christ, the wasps. God damn, I keep flying into my... I had this sort of light bar for inside my RV. And I kind of stole this piece here. And I drilled that out and wired it in, and so we're going to see if this fixes the problem here. I'm just going to cut some tape here. Tape my GoPro there. See if this works.